Every programming language has functions. They are a very important part of programming. Without them, it's almost impossible to build scalable programs. In today's video, we are going to learn how functions works in JavaScript. We'll look at different ways to declare functions, how to handle parameters and arguments, and much more. So without wasting any time, let's jump into Visual Studio Code. So here in Visual Studio Code, I have already created a new file named functions.js. Let's open this file, and here in this file, let's start by declaring a simple function. So in JavaScript, to declare a function, there is a keyword called function. And after that, we need to type the name of our function. So here I am setting the name to hello and then parenthesis and then curly braces. Inside these curly braces, we can write our logic. So here I'm just adding a console.log and it's gonna log hello world. So you can see here we have created a simple function. Now in order to execute it, we need to call this function. So let's call this function. So to call a function, first we need to write the name of the function and then parenthesis. Now this will call the function. So let's run the code. So click here to run the code. Okay. So you can see here we got the output hello world. So congratulations. Now let's see one more way to declare a function. So here I'm creating a new variable using const keyword, const hello. Then here now I can declare a function. So function then directly type the parenthesis and then curly braces. Again adding console.log and hello world. So this method called function expression, and you can see I've declared a function using a variable. Now we can call it using hello then parenthesis. So let's comment the above code first, and now let's run it again. Okay, so you can see we got the value printed hello world. So this is the second method of creating a function. Now let's see what's the difference between these methods. So first, I need to rename this function to hello2, and I am uncommenting the above function. Okay, so you can see I've declared this function at the top, and after that I am calling it. So let's see it. In the console you can see we got the value hello world. But even if I call this function before its declaration, so you can see I got the same value printed with no errors. So this is called hoisting. In JavaScript, before running the code, JavaScript will hoist all our functions at the top of our code. So we don't need to worry about that if we declare the function using this method. But let's comment this, and with our second method, we cannot do this. First, let's see it running. So you can see this is hello world 2, and if I run the code, we got the value printed hello world 2. Now let's call this function before its declaration. So I'm calling this function here, and now you can see this time I got an error cannot access hello2 before initialization. So this means this function cannot be hoisted. So that's the major difference between these two methods, and we will see hoisting in more depth in our upcoming videos. Now let's see arrow functions. So I'm commenting this, and here let's see arrow functions. So arrow functions is a new way to declaring a function. Arrow functions are introduced in ES6. Let's see it. So first I'm creating a new variable using const keyword and naming it hello3, and then after that we can directly add parenthesis followed by this syntax. So an equal to and greater than symbol, then we can write our logic. After that, I can add here a console.log, and this is an arrow function. Okay, now let's make it run. So we need to call this function hello3. Yeah, now let's run the code again. Okay, first let's clear the console to see it more clearly. And now let's run it again. Yeah, so you can see we got the value printed. This is an arrow function. So this is how we can declare an arrow function. Arrow function are a shorter way of declaring function. So all these are old methods of declaring function, and arrow functions are new in JavaScript. And we can also make it like this. So uh, we can also make it one liner function. So I can also directly console.log here. So if our function logic is only one liner, then we can directly add it here without adding the parenthesis, and so it will still run. You can see this is an arrow function. So this is how we can declare arrow functions in JavaScript. Now let's see parameters and arguments. So basically parameters are variables that we can use inside the function. So let's comment it and let's see parameters and arguments. Now let's declare a new function here using arrow function. So hello 4, and this function is gonna take a name, and let's name it greet. So greet, and this function is gonna take a name, and then it will log console.log hello, then name. Okay, so you can see this is called a parameter. So this function will take a name, and then it's gonna log hello plus name. So that's how we use parameters in a function. In order to make it work, let's call it. And now here I can pass the arguments. So arguments are the actual value that we are going to pass to the function. So here I'm passing John. Now let's run the code. Now you can see here we got hello John. So what's happening here, this greet function is taking a name and then it's using it inside here. Then we are getting the value hello plus name. So that's how we can use parameters and arguments in functions. Parameters and arguments are very important in order to work with functions. Now let's move to a return keyword. So I'm commenting this, and let's add a statement here, return keyword. Okay, let's create a new function using const keyword. Const, I want to create a function of addition. So what this function will do, it's gonna take two parameters, a and b. We can pass multiple parameters here, and then this function is gonna return a plus b. Okay, so this is return keyword. Now let's call this function first. Add 4 plus 5. Now let's call this. Yeah, so you can see we got nothing here. Why? Because we haven't logged anything. Now in order to see the result, we need to save the value somewhere. Whatever this function is returning, we need to save that value. So let's make another variable called result, and inside it what will happen here, you can see we are calling this function here. It's gonna take two arguments, a plus b, and you can see the return keyword here. So the return keyword is gonna return the value of a plus b, and then we are saving a value into result variable. And now let's log it. So log result, and let's call it again. So in the terminal, we got the value 9. 4 plus 5 is 9. So return keyword is used to return a value. So return keyword is used to return a value from a function. And if we are using arrow function, then we can also return the value without using the return keyword. So let's see one more example of that. Declaring one more function, add without return keyword. Okay, and this function is gonna take two values, a comma b. Now here we can directly return the value a plus b. So here we don't need to add the return keyword explicitly. So if your logic is too small, I mean like if your logic is one liner, then you can also use this syntax. So it's a very short way to declare a function. And now let's see the value. So now let's call this function. So I'm commenting it, calling this function. So first saving the result into R variable and add with return without the return keyword, calling this function, passing the value 70 comma 30. And now let's log the value of R. So running the code again. Okay, so you can see we got the value 100, and it's because of this function. So this is a very simpler way of declaring and returning the value. So arrow function make it very easy to understand. Now let's move to callback functions. So I'm commenting this code, and let's see what is callback function. Callback function. So callback function is a function that is passed as an argument to another function. So let's see it. So first let's declare a function. So here I am declaring a function named sample, and it's gonna take two things. It's gonna take a name, and then it's gonna take a callback function. Now let's first log the value of name, then call this function callback. Okay, here let's declare one more function called log hello world. This is the second function, and this function is gonna log hello world. Okay, and now let's call sample function. Sample takes two arguments. So first I'm passing the name Mike, and after that we can pass the log hello world function here. So log hello world. So you can see I passed the entire function to this function, and inside that function we are calling the callback, which means we are calling the log hello world function inside the sample function. So let's see it running the code. Okay, so in the terminal you can see we got two value printed. For the first one is Mike and the second one is hello world. So first we called the function sample, and then this function logged the name and called the second function that we have passed here, log hello world. So we can pass a function to another function, and that is called callback function. So this is how callback function works in JavaScript. So that's it for today's video. This is a very basic video of functions. I will create a more in-depth video on it very soon. I hope you understood everything. If you found this video helpful, then like this video, share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, then click the subscribe button and also press the bell icon. I'll see you in the next video. Happy coding, everyone.